Lately, I've come to the realization that there's no shame in being honest. There's no shame in being vulnerable. And I'm learning every day to allow the space between where I want to be and where I am right now to inspire me rather than terrifying me. Ignoring your passion is slow suicide. And the bravest thing you can do is stay soft and stay inspired when the world is cruel.
Greetings internet, it's Katie and I'm back today with a brand new video and hopefully no red lipstick on my teeth because I haven't worn lipstick in a while and I kind of forget the whole lipstick etiquette. Am I good? So as you could probably gather by the title below, today's video is a very honest video. AKA, we're gonna have a really heart-to-heart, heart-on-my-sleeve, honest talk about this grand old game of life. But before I dive into all of my recent thoughts and tidbits and just info, I wanted to talk about my hair because I did recently dye it, AKA 2 days ago. I dyed it Monday, today's Wednesday. Yep, I told myself that I would reward myself with a haircut slash hair dye, tone, etc. once I learned enough Italian to do so. So I finally felt confident enough in my language skills to go there and, you know, tell them exactly what I wanted and voila, this is what happened. It's a little bit different than what I initially told the guy that I wanted, but Paolo, my hairdresser, who knows about 4 words in English, I think, did this to my hair and said, "Che bellissima." So I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm really thriving here in Italy and learning a lot of things about myself, which is really cool. So thanks Mom and Dad for letting me do this because I've learned so much about myself, and that's mainly the reason why I'm filming this video, is because I've learned so many things that past Katie in like my past talking videos would really like to know, so I figured I'd just sit down and talk to you guys about it. So without further ado, I'm going to discuss that with you. Wow, that was such a good rhyme. I just got goosebumps. So throughout my life, throughout the past decade of my life, I'd say, I've been going through a lot of distinct phases of life, and one that I do not care to relive anytime soon, is my phase where I would match my eyeshadow color to my shirt. This was in middle school. So for example, if I was wearing a yellow shirt or something like that, I would wear yellow eyeshadow. How repulsive is that? Oh my god. I wanted to shake my past middle school self and be like, why did you think that was a good idea? I'd also wear tank tops over top of my t-shirts and my long sleeved and my gauchos and my Crocs and, you know, all that stuff. And that was a phase of my life that I do not care to relive, but it did mold me into the person I am today, I suppose. And my recent phase that I've been going through here in Italy, and probably like the last month of summer, has been this very thoughtful phase where I'm really thinking long and hard about everything I do and, you know, where it's going to get me. And don't get me wrong, I'm a total overthinker, and sometimes I think about things I probably shouldn't even be thinking about, like what I'm gonna eat for breakfast in 2 weeks or something ridiculous like that. But, you know, it is really good to think about things that you do and don't just exist, you know. We're not here to exist, we're here to live, you know. If you're just existing, you're only doing half of the job, I'd say. I've recently come to the conclusion that growing up, you know, in general, just growing and going from one phase to the next takes a lot of honesty and being honest with yourself about the hard stuff. Sometimes I have these weird thoughts creep into my brain that really pull me for a loop. Is that a phrase? Like really throw me for a loop? I don't know. Really just make me think about things. One of these things that I've been thinking about lately are the people in my life, you know, that I've been friends with or that I've had relationships with in the past that I'm no longer really that close with now. And it makes me kind of sad, but it's also part of life, just moving on and growing. And you can't beat yourself up about that because it's purely situational. Like, you know, I don't know the people I went to kindergarten with anymore because they are literally an ocean away as I sit here in Italy. So you are going to lose people in your life and they're no longer going to be present. You know, you're gonna lose people, but make sure that you are not one of the people that you lose. It's really important to know yourself, and I feel like I've been living really blindly the past few years, just kind of, you know, thinking that I'm the same as everyone else, lumping myself into that category and thinking I can just follow everyone around my whole life and be a follower and get benefits from that. Today, as I film this, it is the 5th of October, and on the 27th of October, I enter into a new phase of my life. 21, which obviously I've been waiting for anxiously for a very long time. If you are anything like me, you probably are as well, or were when you weren't whatever age you are now. Maybe not on that exact day, but around this time of life, I feel like is when the next chapter begins. And I haven't yet graduated college, but I'm starting to think about what that's going to be like for me and what I want to do afterwards. And you know, I came to this really scary realization, not scary, it was just kind of like a really hard-hitting realization the other day in my Italian class. So I was sitting in Italian class, we started talking about the future tenses of verbs, and I'm getting into the really hard stuff now, but we were talking about the future tenses, and we were discussing our future careers and what we want to do in the future, like really lighthearted. My professor, you know, was joking with us, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up, etc., etc. We all went around and we were just talking about what we want to do when we grow up in Italian in the future tense. So it came to me and my mind went blank and I was like, oh my god, like what do I want to be? I don't know what I want to be. And then all of a sudden, graphic designer just popped into my head. I was like, graphic designer. So I said, come si dice graphic designer, because I don't know what the hell graphic designer is in Italian yet. And she said whatever it is, it's in my notebook somewhere, but it kind of just like freaked me out. Not in a bad way, but it freaked me out that that's the first thing I came to, aka that's like what my heart feels. Like my heart is in graphic design, and it is in designing and fonts and colors and drawing and really manipulating things. And I felt confident about what I said. It wasn't something random, because I'm always like, oh, I'm a communications major and this is my minor and blah blah blah. But what if like you really listen to your heart and we're like, wait, like what do I actually want to do? I love this question. I hear it often. You know, if you could not fail, what would you do? And it's crazy to think about it and actually truly be like, huh, you know, if I could not fail, if I really listened to myself and, you know, was honest with myself, what would I do with this freaking life that I have? And if I could do anything, I would design graphics for the rest of my life and sit behind a computer screen, honestly, because that's something I really do often and love to do. Hence, I'm holding a computer right now, so yeah. It's really easy to, you know, negate those thoughts and think, well, it's not realistic. You know, I can't do this because X, Y, and Z, because it doesn't pay well. My friends don't approve of it, my parents don't approve of it, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, growing up is about being honest with yourself about the hard things. Oh my god, that window just opened on its own, I swear to god. But like I said, it's not that easy. You know, it's hard to really be like, Katie, what do you want to do? Because you're constantly considering other variables that are messing with your experiment, you know? The other people. You're always thinking about the other people. And believe me, I am a tried and true member of this group. I am so obsessed with what people think about me. You know, I feel like I'm never not going to care. I'm always going to care, no matter how many conclusions I come to in these videos where I'm like, this is the solution, this is the answer. You know, I'm still talking about it, I'm still thinking about it, because I still have not come to a solution. I don't think any of us have, besides, you know, something that can remedy it, which is honesty. If you are honest with yourself and you accept everything that you know to be true about yourself, your flaws, your, you know, strengths, your weaknesses, etc., if you accept all of those things to be true, no one can use them against you. No one can rub them in your face and say, you know, blah, 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 blah about you, because you already know what's true and what's not, so then why the hell does their opinion matter, you know? So I think that the first step of becoming a mature adult and just moving on to the next phase of your life is being honest about yourself in this present moment and about what makes you tick and what makes you happy. And for me, I love graphics and I love design and I love visuals and doing what I'm doing right now. And I've been letting a lot of other things get in the way of that, and I'm just not realizing that right now. I read this really amazing quote by Nikita Gill, I think I'm saying that right. She's one of my favorite poets. I see her work reposted all the time on all the various social media websites I'm a part of. I am absolutely head over heels in love with her brain. She has all of these amazing thoughts that she puts into quotes, and they are stunning. I think poems, actually. She's a poet. I read this quote that says, if all girls, which I guess you could substitute people, so you know, if all people were taught how to love each other fiercely instead of how to compete with each other and hate their own bodies, what a different and beautiful world we would live in. It truly would be a different world. I know this problem is constantly addressed in music, in politics, in life, but there is not very much love in society right now. I feel like as humans we are very competitive, and that is purely instinctual. You know, even the freaking cavemen were competitive against other cavemen over, I don't know, what did they eat? Mammoths and shit back then? I don't really know what they did back then, really, but there has always been competition. A feeling that we know all too well is competition. I feel like competition is prevalent in every single freaking day of our lives. I really wish that that could be changed, but I have a feeling it won't ever be, And if it somehow, by some stroke of luck, is someday, like, thank God we got it together, because it's ruining our lives. This need, this hunger for competition, you know, in politics, in social media these days, everything's a competition. It's all about the numbers, especially on YouTube. Like, this is a prime example. People are constantly butting heads and competing and throwing out those flashy titles so they can, you know, get the views and the numbers. We kind of forget why the hell we're here. And this has been a, you know, problem for me recently with my lack of enthusiasm on YouTube. You know, I'm kind of just getting tired of it. Not of making videos, I fucking love making videos, but I'm getting tired of how YouTube is becoming. And I know people hate when other people talk about, you know, how YouTube has changed, because it's like saying a person has changed. It's like not okay to say, oh, so-and-so has changed. It's like a negative connotation. But YouTube has changed. We can't deny that, okay? Even the people that have been around for maybe a year on YouTube can realize that there has been a change. You know, I've been on here for 7 years, and I can firsthand tell you that there has been a huge change in the past few years on YouTube of what is important. It's not about the art anymore, and it really is killing me, honestly, that it's not about the art anymore, because that's my favorite part. My favorite videos that I've ever made are not my videos with the most views, and, you know, that's been a conflict for me. That's a whole other tangent, but basically competition is ruining the good things. It's ruining the good stuff. You know, it's a sign of maturity when you no longer need to do that, when you no longer need to compete because you're content enough with your own standing and you don't need to climb higher and higher and higher. But the sad thing is a lot of people don't ever reach that. Even if you're like 55 years old or 60 or 70 or 80, there's some people that have not matured enough to realize they don't need to compete. And, you know, I'm kind of on the cusp of realizing that now, and I'm almost 21, you know? So life never gets easier. You simply get better. You're like a fine wine or a nice block of cheese, you know? You get better with age. You hear that? It's a siren. You can literally hear it through a closed window. Wow. And there it is. That's it for this video, guys. Let's start a conversation in the comment section below. Talk to me. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.